Hello, in this video we're looking at Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, verse 45. Aho bata mahatpapang kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajasukhalobhena hantum swajjanam udyata. Now with the text up. Aho bata mahatpapang kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajasukhalobhena Hantum swajjanamudyata. Aho bata. I'm not sure what the etymology of that is. May well be just lost in the mists of time, but it's an exclamation of dismay, horror, like, alas, woe is me, that kind of thing. Aho bata. Vayam, we, vyavasita. It actually literally means concluded, determined. Just as the terminus, determined, from terminus, an ending in Latin. If you are determined, determined can have two meanings. You determine something by placing a limit on it. Delimiting, determine. But it can also mean, as more often means, you resolve to do it. You've made up your mind. You're determined to do it. So vyavasita has this meaning of putting an end to something, but in this context, we often find this in Sanskrit. It means that you are, you've put an end to any doubt or wondering what to do. That's it. I'm finally decided that's what we'll do. End of discussion. End of thinking about it. That's what we've made up our minds to do. So that is the meaning of it here. It's in fact it's from the root si, alternative forms sa or so, meaning to bind. So vi'ava, to bind away and off. You've tied it up and separated it. So that's the imagery. You've got a parceled thing bound up. So that's determined, good to go, ready to leave the gates. The mind is determined. So vayam vyavasita, we are determined, we've set our minds on what? Mahat papang kartum. Kartum from root kri. Kartum is the infinitive, so we are determined to do. We say that in Sanskrit just as we do in English. Vayam vyavasita kartum, we are determined to do. In this case, we translate as commit because it's mahat papam, this mighty evil, this mighty sin. Ahobata, alas. Vayam vyavasita, we have set our minds, we are determined on kartum, we're determined to do kartum, mahat papam, a mighty evil. Remember in combining form, no, this is not combining form. Sorry, this is the mahat fully declined. This is the neuter form of mahan, great. In its combining form, if you make a compound, it's maha. So it could equally have said mahapapam, just using the combining stem form maha, or as a separate adjective in the neuter, mahat papam. So, for example, a great king. We normally see it as a compound, Maharaja. Maharaj. You could also separate them, and you could put Mahan in its masculine, full declined nominative masculine singular form, in which case it would be Mahan Raja. But most often we see it combined in a compound. But here, as I say, it's not compounded, which is why we see it in its declined neuter singular form, mahat papam, a great sin. So, alas, we are determined to perpetrate this mighty papa, this mighty evil. Yad, the meaning of yad here is very much the same, that or in that. We are determined to commit this mighty evil, namely that or in that. Then what follows? We've set our minds on killing our own people through desire for kingship. Yad, that's the meaning of yad here, which quite conveniently and coincidentally operates much in the same way as English, that, in that. In that, udyataha. In the previous verse, we saw from that same root yam, we saw niyata. Remember that? Niyata, to tie down, to bind down, restrain down. Niyatam is a word, therefore, meaning definitely, inescapably. It's something that's like tied down. Udyata, we have raised ourselves up. Um, we're determined to do it. We've got in our minds, that's our goal, like our endeavor, our determination, our goal, udyata, literally raised up, or aroused our minds to this effort, this thing that we're going to do. So we are determined, vyavasita, we've set our minds upon perpetrating this evil deed, yet in that, udyata, we are, how about translated it here? Udyata, eager, intent on, fine, okay. That we are intent on again the infinitive, hantum swajanam, swajanam, our own people. From the root jan, jana, just people. In Latin, gens, la gente, les gens in French, just people, it's that same word, etymologically the same word. So swajanam, our own people. And hantum is a regularly formed infinitive from our root han, to strike or to kill, hantum. Remember that the past participle of it is not hanta, which you'd expect, but hatta. But the infinitive is regularly formed hantum. So hantum swajanam, to kill our own people. Raja Sukalobhena. This could equally have been Raja Sukalobhat. It's the instrumental is used here, as I say, could equally well have used the ablative, meaning by a desire. Just in English, we could say by a desire or out of a desire. You could say both in English, same in Sanskrit. Here, Shantideva has chosen to use the instrumental by a desire, the lobha, this wish, this lust, this desire, rajasukha, for the happiness of kingship, or for the for the joy of being kings. Let me give you iPad. Oops, where's iPad gone? Here we are. There we are. So we have got Raja. Actually, it's and this is um, a consonant declension. The stem form is actually Rajan, and the nominative becomes Raja, accusative Rajanam. However, it makes its abstract noun by making Rajya. Rajya. Oops. Which means kingship. By the way, there's also from the Raj plus Tra. Oops, sorry, my pen's gone funny. Raj plus Tra by internal Sandhi becomes Rashtra. What's both derivatives from Raja, meaning a king? What's the difference between Rajya and Rashtra? Rashtra is more the like the area, the dominion, the kingdom, as in Maharashtra, the great kingdom. Rajya is more the an abstract noun. It's more the status of being the king. I don't think the distinction between those two is absolute. There's a certain overlap between them. But broadly speaking, that is the difference between them. So this is the Rajya Sukha, the happiness of kingship. Difference, say, in English, in kingdom and kingship. Kingship, the status of being king. Kingdom tends to mean the area over which the king rules. So Rajya Sukha, the joy of kingship. And Lobha, cognate actually with our English word to love. Um, but it tends to have a pejorative meaning in Sanskrit and Pali, particularly among the Buddhists. I mean, Lobha is one of the three fires: greed, hatred, and delusion. Lobha, dosa, moha in Pali. It's that same Lobha. So here it means out of greed, greedy desire. So Rajya Sukha Lobhena, out of kingship, happiness, greed. That is, by greed for the happiness of kingship. So he's saying, alas, woe is us, that we are now determined, vyavasitavayam, mahat papang kartum, to do, to perpetrate mahat papam, this great evil. Yet in that rajasukhalobhena, by greed or desire for Rajya Sukha, for kingship happiness, by greed for the happiness of kingship, Udyataha, we are determined, Hantum Swajanam, to kill our own people. So what I'll do now, we'll just read through this again before winding up this video. By the way, do remember this root yam, just as han makes hatta, past participle I'm talking about, gum makes gata, it loses the nasal. So equally, yam loses its nasal in the past participle, it just becomes yata. So udyata, that we see here in the previous verse, niyata. So ahobata mahat papang kartum vyavasita vayam yadraja sukalobhena hantum swajanamudyataha. Remember, udyata suggests not just wanting to do it, but you're eager to go. You've set your minds on it. That's where you've put your force and your effort. Highly volitional. In fact, on that point, I could hardly resist putting in one of my favorite verses from the Hitopadesha. Udyamenahi, udyama, by determination, by resolve, siddhyanti karyani, tasks, things to be done, siddhyanti, are achieved. Remember, siddhiti, the roots of the variable root siddh and sad, effective the same root initially, as in sadhu, well done, hit the mark. Siddhyanti, they are achieved, they happen. So karyani, siddhyant, things to be done, tasks siddhyanti are achieved udyamena, by resolve, actually getting up and doing it, na manoratai, not by simply desires of the mind. And nahi, this has nothing to do with this verse of the Bhagavad Gita, but I'll say it anyway. Nahi suptasya singhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. The mriga, that is the beasts, particularly the beasts of the forest, and particularly it's used in the sense of huntable animals, notably deer, but any kind of huntable animal that either humans would hunt or indeed predators would hunt is a mriga. But here, let's say it means deer. So deer, mriga, na pravishanti, do not enter, mukhe, in the mouth, suptasya singhasya, of a sleeping lion. So the idea is that however strong and powerful you are, you've still got to make an effort to get things done, because however strong and powerful the lion is, if he just lies there asleep with his mouth open, he can't expect the deer to walk into it. He's got to make a bit of an effort himself to catch his prey. Udyamena hi siddhyanti karyani namanorathaya. Instrumental plural here, see? Manorathai, by mind desires, by desires of the mind. Nahi suptasya singhasya pravishanti mukhe mriga. Okay, I'll give you one more reading of our Bhagavad Gita verse, but that's from, as I say, it's from the Hitopadesha, that verse I just recited. So finally then, Aho bata mahatpapam kartum vyavasita vayam yadraja sukkalo bihena hantum swajjana mudyata. And that's it on this video.